Hi, this is Christy Allen with MP Table Talk, and
Hi, this is Margie Rodriguez, NP.
Eladia Lala Reyes is here, so I'm excited to talk about our topic today.
yeah, so we listened to some requests, and one of them was for us to discuss work-life balance, and that's very important for not just medical professionals, but actually anybody at all. And I think a lot of times we just don't take the time for ourselves. We just devote too much time to work, which we shouldn't. Like there should be a pretty healthy work-life balance, or it'll lead to burnout. What do y'all think?
Oh,
I
100.
agree. I
100,
agree.
yes.
I think just the long hours kind of gets in the way of having that work life balance. But even outside of that, having to find that time for yourself, it's important. So, do you agree, Lala?
100%. I mean, you need to. I mean, setting those boundaries is very important. I'm still getting used to setting those boundaries. I'm a bit of a workaholic, if you know me. But boundaries, saying no, I can't commit to that event or that organization at this time. I think sometimes it's important because you have to have that time with your family. All three of us are very family oriented. I know we like to be there, right?
Yes.
And that's a huge thing. And in our roles in the community and at work, it can bleed in together, and we need to make sure that we're setting those boundaries appropriately. And you're right, Margie, long hours. I mean, how many, even nurses, nurses, I know I was used to working 12, 13 hours a day, right? Because it was a 12-hour shift, but we weren't there 12 hours. We
No.
were, right?
Longer.
At least 30 minutes usually before, and probably an hour after charting.
Exactly. And then if there was a code at the end of shift, even longer. Like, so I think all of us are used to those long hours, and unfortunately, our families are susceptible to those things, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I know for me, sometimes because I do work, I do a lot of community work, I do advocacy. Sometimes it's like people go, "Oh, how do you do it all?" And I'm like, "Well, see me on Thursday at 8 o'clock at night, and I'm done. I am done with the week." And my husband can attest to that. So again, finding those boundaries of, what, I can't make that meeting, guys. I want to, but I can't. And so building those boundaries is so important. I can't stress that enough, right?
No, for sure. I just have to say, on even in being in nursing, not just in nurse practitioner when transitioning, but in nursing, having to travel a lot and being out of town, and how many times I missed out on my daughter's events. I was like, yeah. I mean, I know we all have a career, but sometimes maybe it's not the right position. If it's going to impact the family. So you just have to think about weighing the good and the bad.
Mm-hmm. And then also look at that when you're, if you're wanting to switch jobs, that's definitely something to ask about. Um, you know, and would you have to be on call? Because then that's a whole nother,
That's a whole other beast. I think all of us know call, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but sometimes it's good, but other times, if you have a family, I think we miss enough just with our regular job. Much less everything else we do, we miss a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I always call it mom guilt. Mom guilt is a true thing because for me, it's like if I can't make something, my husband's like, it's okay, I'll be there or whatever it is. But then I'm like, yeah, but I'm not there, so I feel bad. And my sons are kind of I really work my schedule to make those events, But there's every once in a while I'm like. My son, if you have a teenager, they're all last minute. And so last minute things, my poor baby, he'll tell me, hey, mom, I have this today. And I'm like, son, my whole schedule can't change. My job affects everybody else's jobs and life and visits. And so even my sons are held accountable too, to say, hey, know what's going on. Let me know in a timely manner so I can try to make it. And that goes into planning ahead, being structured, time management, right? Because I do want to be there. And just like you said, it's like, but I have a meeting, or let me see if I can arrange it, or whatever it is. And it's time management, just like in our lives of work, right? We have time management skills, and we need to make sure we're appropriately doing that.
Yeah, and maybe we need to, or me at least, I've missed stuff just because I flat out forgot. like just forgot.
Yes.
And then, it's halfway through. I know his game is halfway over, right? But I'm like, so maybe scheduling it just how we schedule, our patients or schedule like appointments. I think I need to start scheduling like, my kids' games and stuff just so I get an alarm to remind me because we
Good
get so
idea.
busy, it gets hectic.
And sometimes catching that tail end of that game, like Mijo, I saw you at the end when and you know what, their eyes light up when you walk in that room, right? And so it's again making that, you're right, time management and making sure you're making that appropriate because it makes you feel good and it makes your family feel good. And when you're feeling good, you know what, ultimately that trickles onto your work life too, right? And so it's very important to keep that work-life balance and make sure that it's attainable too, right? Because sometimes it's not attainable and you need to just say, you know what, guys, I can't belong to this meeting, or whatever it is, and making sure you're upholding your life at work and at home. So it's a tricky fine line, and I think we're all navigating through it together, right? Because none of us are 100% great at it, and we're living in this now new modern world of everything and adapting onto. And I guess that's another thing is being flexible. If you know what, it's like I just said, when my son says, "Hey, mom, I'm doing this now," at the last minute, I'm like, okay, let me see how I can accommodate, and so you don't have that guilt, and if you can make it, your kids know if you can make it, and they're reasonable. I know my kids are like, "No, mom, I understand," or "Yeah, thanks, mom, for making that you saw that last shot."
At least, they know, like we're working and stuff. And then also don't feel bad though to tell your boss no. Like, oh, can you work this weekend? It's like, no, I'm sorry, my son has a tournament. Like, do not feel bad about that. Like, you've already worked, right? So that's your extra. So, and if it's a job that is constantly asking you to take more time away from your family, maybe that's not the job for you either.
Family first. I think that's a motto that we've all said, right? All of us have said that, Mark.
Family first, yes. Yeah, I agree. Even, like just what Christy was saying, saying no, when they're asking you, hey, can you work? It's hard because we're hard workers, and yeah, we take our job seriously and our profession seriously. And I think that when somebody's asking us, you feel like, gosh, I feel bad, I can't say no. But
like you're letting your team down
exactly
because what they're gonna have to work with, like,
right,
or they're short, or you can't take that call that time, or whatever
so
it is,
somebody
you're
else
worried about
is
your
gonna
patients,
have to
and then
take it.
Right. So it was just like she said, don't feel guilty. I mean, if you can and still manage the family work-life balance and you still can, well, great. But if you absolutely can't, then just say, I'm sorry, respectfully decline that this time, but maybe I can do it for you on another weekend, so it doesn't seem like you're just being hard cold. No. You want
to be a good team player. But I think as nurses, we were always like, yeah, we'll take that other shift. Yeah, we'll do that. And we're always pleasing the facilities and our work and that time. You're right, where it's just like, I can't this time.
Yeah,
I can't.
And having someone at work maybe that does like the same job you do. I know we used to do that when like we worked in a clinic together. If somebody had to stay late, but say I knew Lala's son had a game, so I'm like, no, you don't have to stay. Like, I'll cover you. So if there's someone at work like that you can do that with, that's a great option also, because then it's like then someone helps and
you help each other back and forth. And you're right, like during holidays it was like, hey, you're going to do this one, okay, then I'll do that. And it's again having that camaraderie within your work family, because you spend a lot of time with your work family. Like, it's
probably I think more than our own family.
That's true. And so having those relationships where you work are very important as well. And making sure you're being personable, right? Like being true to yourself is another part of that work-life balance. Are you taking time for yourself? You know what? I know I don't do my nails, but some people will be like, I went and did my nails, or I went and did my toes, or whatever. Take that time for yourself, because we do get wrapped up in mom life, work life, volunteerism, just everything else. And sometimes you need that, you know what, today I'm going to rest. I'm going to rest. And
don't
that's
feel
okay.
bad.
That's okay.
Don't feel
And that's
bad.
okay, right?
Yeah.
Because I know in my own house, sometimes I'll be like, you know what, I'm going to watch trash TV sometimes, because it just is not hard on my mind,
Exactly.
and I'm going to just chill out, relax. And my husband's like, I can't believe you watch this. I'm like, I like watching it, but it's that time just to decompress. And whatever that is to you, whether it's cricketing or decorating or, crafting, whatever that niche is that relaxes you, do it. Go to the beach. Kayak, go do it. You deserve it. And self-love is very important when we're talking about that work-life balance, right?
And your mental health, like that's giving you your mind needs, just like your body needs a break, your mind needs a break also.
And that's where burnout comes into play, trying to again, it's that balance. And in the healthcare professional, burnout is it's extremely high, yes. And especially, I mean, it's been an ongoing issue, but since the pandemic hit, that just accelerated that part of burnout. I don't know about y'all, but during the pandemic, I was working in long-term care, and it was really hard in the long-term care facilities because they were shut down. Family members couldn't come in. We were having to literally put in all our PPEs, and we were losing patients.
It's hard. It's hard. That mental exhaustion, the physical exhaustion,
emotional.
And you commuted everywhere.
Yes.
You were going from one facility to another facility, and she did hands-on. So it's just you're right. Again, like the exhaustion, I can't, and then plus the death, plus all those things, and
the worry about I worried about bringing it home. So I would literally just I would stand at the door, kind of like strip down, leave the clothes, and then I would have a change of clothes, and then straight to the shower. Because God forbid, I did not want to infect my family. Like
Exactly. I remember having a can of Lysol. We'd strip down. We were only allowed to exit one door, and it was like just spraying yourself because again, you didn't want to take it home.
And then you talked about the limited PPE. I remember us talking on the phone one time where we were like, I might get this raincoat, and then we can disinfect it in between. It was just so complex, and people don't realize that stress and that bringing of the home. It's hard because we had young kids, we had sick parents, there's everything else in between, and stripping down in the garage is what we did. And that mental exhaustion plus the caring and plus the losing of patients was just beyond it was another level. And you're right, where COVID kind of highlighted more of that burnout in providers and healthcare professionals, nurses, everybody, because we were on those front lines.
And losing peers as well.
That's right.
Yes. And so burnout is a huge issue in the Institute of Medicine, right? The Surgeon General actually put out a statement talking about it because, again, if you can't take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of others?
Anybody else?
Right. And so it goes back to just that primal, like taking care of yourself, taking that seat back and knowing when to say, you know what? I need a minute, whether it's just that mental checkout, whether it's what you need in that moment, and don't be afraid to voice that because it's a true thing and it can affect you mentally. And we don't want that for anybody, And I know we lost providers. They're not even in healthcare anymore. Now they're in real estate, or they're moving from the healthcare environment because of burnout.
Yes.
And we need to keep everybody in healthcare because we're already short. And so it's definitely a big initiative in realizing those topics. That's why our listeners who reached out and said, hey, talk about that. Thank you. Because it is a topic that we don't talk about much. And self-love, I can't stress it.
Well, not only that we don't talk about, where a profession doesn't even seek out the help because we're the ones helping. So we're the ones not actually seeking the help when we actually need it ourselves, because we're in the profession. So we were like, no, we're beyond that. But we truly aren't, because we're human. We have emotions. We feel just like anybody else, but because we're in this profession, we're thought to be stronger and it's
We're just better at faking it.
yeah, there you go. But that's where we have each other. You know, we can vent and you cry on each other's shoulder, and I mean, find your person who you can vent to, or go to a corner when you're working and you feel that the emotions are so high. If you need to cry it out, and then get back to it if you can. But you do need the family support and friendship support as well, you know, to get through these difficult, high stress moments.
I say it takes a village, you know.
Yeah. And you're right, you're recognizing it, saying it out loud, saying, "Hey, this is rough. This was a rough case."
Yeah.
You know, and taking that moment, because I know some employers now have those quiet rooms where they can go and kind of decompress, and those are great services. Not everybody has that, but it's definitely something that more people should be conscious of. Even if you know a healthcare provider, maybe they had a bad day, and just checking in on them, you know, especially during those times, because I thank God for our sisterhood during these times, because we were able to verbalize these concerns and what we were going through in those moments.
Y'all remember when we did the video? It was like a Zoom video, but it wasn't work related. It was for us to talk.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
We had Claudia in Kingsville wasn't on there. I remember Jen Harvey. We were all just talking it up and just venting.
That was the only way, because everything was shut down.
And everybody was so busy.
Video.
Yes. And we did a social gathering online. You're right. And that was just a good way to vent and just talk about what we were all going through and seeing at the time. So again, reaching
and
out
ideas.
to those people.
It helped us with ideas, and y'all are doing this. Oh, have y'all heard of that? You know, and I think, I don't know, we learned some stuff, and we're able to, I don't remember exactly, but I think more PPE or different.
Even where we were getting the PPE at the time, getting that connection and everything, and but even getting vaccines was an issue at that time. So it was just a conglomerate of things. But having those people to reach out to and talk to and kind of adapt, again, being flexible, right? Like we talked about, being flexible for our own well-being is always important. And I mean, if you're burned out, reach out. That's what I need to say, is reach out if you feel like you're having issues, or whether it's the environment you're in at work, you know, because people get burned out on that too. Talking about it and bringing that to HR's attention is another thing, you know, because your well-being is as important as everyone else's on the team, and you can only do so much if you're hurting inside as well, as a provider, nurse, anybody on that team. And so reaching out,
don't be ashamed, don't be embarrassed, just ask for help.
And no matter how strong we are, right? Because I know I've been strong, and there was times where I was crying, you know, because of just the stress, whether it was work, whether it wasn't, I didn't have balance, whatever was going on, and being open to that, no matter how strong you are. And I have to say, check in on your strong friends, because they're always there for you, you know, but they're strong because they need to be strong sometimes, and make sure you're checking in on them, like, you know.
Absolutely. And take some time off, you know. We're Wednesday, like, oh, I can't take time off, you know, we have so much on, you know, we're short, whatever, but you need to take some time off. And a lot of professionals, again, don't take time off, you know, so take the time.
Use the PTO.
Use the PTO. Yes.
I think that was a great talk for today. And so again, you know, if you listeners have any ideas, questions for us, feel free to email us, send us, you know, or so Facebook is NP Table Talk. Our Gmail is nptabletalk@gmail.com. Even on the podcast, you can put questions and answers and stuff like that. And
we'll see y'all soon again.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.